Have you got Meno belly? Maybe you don't. And if you do, maybe you want to listen on. So I get a lot of women coming to see me. I'm a naturopath, nutritionist, and they come in saying, you know what, I'm not doing anything differently. I'm eating the same, I'm doing the same exercise, and I'm putting on weight. And I'm putting on weight around my middle, and they can't understand it. And they think it's about willpower maybe. They want to try and eat less, exercise more, and actually that makes it even worse. So what's going on? Well, estrogen is a great hormone, and I think we think of it a lot of the time as just helping with, I don't know, fertility and regulating menstrual cycles. And it does. And it does so much more. There are estrogen receptors all over the body, in the heart, in the brain, in the bone, in the lung. And so that means estrogen can exert impacts in many different body systems. Estrogen also has a love affair with insulin. Now, insulin is our fat storing hormone. And when we have adequate estrogen and regulated estrogen, our insulin works quite well, helping to regulate our blood glucose. But through that journey of perimenopause, when estrogen and progesterone, but estrogen particularly, can start to fluctuate wildly, and into menopause where the estrogen flatlines to a larger extent and reduces significantly, estrogen and insulin kind of fall out of love. And that means that we literally, through perimenopause and definitely into menopause, go insulin resistant. And you haven't done anything else. It's not about what you're eating, although it is. Obviously, we can't get away with eating loads of sugary things and high carbohydrate and drinking a lot and lots of McDonald's. But so it is about the food, but it doesn't mean that if you're eating a well-balanced diet and exercising that you will stay in the same body composition. We can just start putting weight around the middle in and of itself as we go insulin resistant at menopause. The other interesting transition around this time is that the body also has higher testosterone levels. You may have noticed unwanted hair in other places other than your head. And that testosterone also is driven by our stress hormones, cortisol. And cortisol, to a lesser extent, testosterone will put weight around the middle. So contributing again to this Meno belly. There are other signs and symptoms of these hormonal transitions. You might have noticed blood pressure increasing. You might have noticed some of the other blood work, total cholesterol, higher LDLs, higher triglycerides, dysregulated blood glucose. And if that is you, and you're finding that the weight around the middle is really annoying, then there are things that we can do about that. Clearly, exercise is one of those things, but it's a particular kind of exercise. It's no longer really cardio, although do that if you want to, but it's more important to do the strength training, the Pilates, the yoga. Yes, walking, but definitely walking with intent and that heel strike. So the strike of the heel into the ground is really important. Weight training, resistance training, particularly good. And at this point in time, many menopausal women, it may not be the best idea to just jump into the gym. You might want to go to an exercise physiologist or a physio, or even get a personal trainer and make sure that you're doing the exercise correctly so that you don't injure yourselves. The other thing, once we've done some movement and we've actually started working with the muscle mass, which we will increase with the weight-bearing activity, that means that muscle is far more metabolically active. So it means that we can dispose of extra calories much more easily. And so as a result, this increased muscle can help stabilize our blood glucose, but also the insulin and the overall calories that we're eating and try and support our body to maintain its weight. The next thing we really need to worry about or really work on is the sleep. So the sleep is absolutely integral. Sleep is where we do a whole lot of things we're probably unaware of. We detoxify, we certainly build the muscle that we've worked on during the day, and we repair cells. And making sure that we have good amounts of deep sleep is incredibly restorative. If you've got a watch, you can maybe track it. That could be interesting, and see if you can get at least an hour, but hopefully an hour, 20 minutes, hour 30 of deep sleep each night. They're really, really important in trying to support your muscle gain, but also have restorative sleep. And that will then help reduce the stress hormones, which could potentially be driving the cortisol and the weight around the middle. Now, lastly, and absolutely not leastly, is diet. It is really incredibly important to have a well-balanced diet. Mediterranean style diet is generally the one that we think of. It's most easily accessible and it's really well researched. Essentially what that breaks down to is not lots of pasta and pizza, but having adequate amounts of protein the size and thickness of the palm of your hand, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch and dinner, as well as having as many vegetables. I've never met anyone who eats too many vegetables. So, you know, at least maybe 5 cups of veg a day, which would certainly be a good amount. That's going certainly over what we would recommend for a standard Australian diet. And that will help with lots of micronutrients, lots of fiber, and it will fill you up. So protein, vegetables, nuts, seeds, unrefined grains, so maybe some rice, maybe a little bit of pasta, maybe you could get the legume pasta, and that could be certainly a higher fiber and sort of lower carbohydrate look to the diet, which will also go towards helping stabilize the blood glucose and drive down the body fat, which you will be able to climb into with the adequate muscle that you've got from working out. I hope some of those tips might help. If you'd like a more specialized plan, nutritionists and naturopaths are foremost the people that could be really supportive of giving you a great personalized plan. I hope that helps.